Hello, and welcome back to White Tiger Kenpo Yellow Belt, Lesson 2. In this lesson, we'll talk about Chinese sword A and B, and delayed sword A and B. Let's get started. Let's bow in. Okay, now, Lesson 2, Chinese sword and delayed sword. If you're familiar with the Tracy's techniques, these techniques will be very familiar to you. We pretty much don't do them too differently, other than a few minor nuances. Plus we added a B to delayed sword. So let's start with Chinese sword A. A is for a right punch, B is for a left punch. This is also your first figure 8 motion, and you'll either see Chinese sword in short 2, kata in purple belt. So you got a right punch coming at you. The technique calls for an inward block, so the hand's going to be up here. We're going to throw our inward block, but instead of stopping, like a lot of people will do and then rake, we're going to keep that motion going. So when you do this, it's just one, continue on to the ear and bring it back down. This is your figure 8, into a collarbone strike with the knife edge of your hand as you draw out a soft bow. Hand goes in chamber, which sets you up for your 5 swords and 7 swords later on in your rank belts. So again, Chinese sword A, stand in soft bow. Inward block into your horse. Continue that motion. Do not stop it. We want to build up that momentum. And as we drop into a soft bow, we're going to do a knife edge strike to the collarbone, drawing your hand into chamber, and this will set you up for your 5 swords and 7 swords. Also, once you get this technique down, try doing some different things with this. Once your hand is here, how else could you follow up? Example, an inverted punch. A hook punch. There's a lot of different other strikes you can go into. Spear hand. So think about how you can continue on that technique with your own technique. Make Kenpo your own. Okay, again on A. Inward block. Here, continue that motion. So when you do this, it should be 1, just like that. That should be 2. There should be no stopping, one fluid motion from here to here. So when you practice, try to get the hip work, the hip motion working with the hand. Now, a lot of you will see me later on and doing different things, or other students of mine, they do this with an open palm, almost like a heel palm knife edge rake, that motion. So you come in, you boom. So you just slap that hand all the way out. And what this does is, just like the inward block, it opens that arm up, collarbone strike, nice and tight, easy target. Now, why one over the other? Well, that's because an inward block is a tense block. In other words, you're building up all that power, so you're going to be a little slower than if you would if I just come in and slap it. So it's not really a slap, because I'm going to use the heel palm, and then I'm going to follow with that knife edge, and I want to hit right on that radial nerve and bring it right up to my ear. 1, 2, into soft bow. One continuous fluid action. The B version now is what if. What if they threw a left instead of a right? Well, this is one reason we over-exaggerate our motion. We don't come up in like this, because by doing so this way, you're assuming it's a right punch, and if you're wrong, you're now open to a strike. So we're going to come out wide. This way, if you're right or left, we're still going to catch that block. We're going to be out of the point of contact of the punch, which is always important. So when we're here, now we realize we've gotten to this point, our mind's already said, collarbone's no longer open. So now we need to change our target, and we go with a back fist to the face, or cheekbone, or temple. Now a back fist is just point the wrist and flick it. Nice and relaxed, okay? Just open palm. There again, this is something when we teach like sparring, we teach the palm open until the very last second, and then you close it. There again, you're much faster this way than if you try to force it. You want to be relaxed. Let the muscles relax until the very last second, and then you close it and you lean into it just a bit and open that shoulder just a tad. And that'll give you all the power you need to do some serious damage. So the B again. Everything in the same thing as A until you get to here. You realize you can't do a chop because it's covered like this, so we're going to throw a back fist. Like so. Wrist, knuckles. Always these 2 knuckles. 1, 2. Okay, let's do A and B from this angle. Step in, soft bow, left hand in check, inward block, continue the motion up to your ear, bring it down along the line of the gi to the collarbone, and back into chamber. Now this could have easily been a hammer fist in the streets. Any kind of strike that hammer fisted here. Keep your fist closed. You still got the same motion, just got to change your weapon. So again on B, check, soft bow from here, inward block to horse, sweep in and around, chop, back to soft bow. Okay, the B version, same motion here, bring it up. We realize left instead of a right, target's covered up, so we alter and throw a back fist to the temple or the cheekbone. Okay, this angle. Step in, and on A, check. Starting position. 1, continue the motion. Here, as we go to soft bow, hand stays in check, right hand goes into chamber, so you can follow up with any technique you wish. Also, it sets you up for 5 and 7 swords. Again on A, 1, 2, continue, strike, and you're good. B version, identical to A up until the ear. Once your hand gets ear, you realize you can't do it, so you throw a back fist. Just like so. Nice and relaxed. So Chinese sword B, 1, back fist. A right punch, B left punch. Okay, now let's look at delayed sword. Delayed sword is pretty much similar, probably say, let's say the same family as Chinese sword in the sense we're going to do inward block, chop. But in this case, for different variations, you could be up against the wall so you don't have room to step back into the fighting stance. Your opponent's coming too fast, so you don't have time to really get into a proper fighting stance. You're just kind of like getting out of the way, like, oh wow, kind of a motion. Main thing is with this move, you want to do one thing completely at the same time, and that is step back with your left foot, left hand comes in check, right foot draws to cat, inward block. So as soon as the cat is in place, you've got the inward block. There again, same motion as Chinese sword. All we're doing is changing our perspective. Okay, so 1, 2. Okay, let's just do that a few times. Step back and block. Okay, one more time, step back and block. Now, let's talk about the step back. This is not a jump back. Okay, then you're going to be completely out of range of everything. This is just, imagine stepping to a fighting stance. Okay, it's just slightly stepping back, no more than your fighting stance, and drawing to a cat. So it's not a complete wide shuffle backwards move. This is what they call a transitory stance. In other words, you don't want to stay there. You're going to go in and you're going to go out. In, out. You never stay in a cat stance. You don't fight from a cat stance. It just allows you to transition from one move to the next. So again, the first part of this, okay, there's your delayed action. Step back left, left check, right cat. Cat stance, back leg 90%, front up on the ball 10%. Inward block goes across the entire center line of the body. No assumptions left or right. Then from here, you're going to throw a front snap kick. The assumption is at this point they're going to double over. As they do, you're going to chop to the collarbone, draw to soft bow, hand in chamber, ready for a continuing motion if you need it. Okay, again. 1, kick. 2. Now set down. Do not land. Okay, in other words, you don't want to do this. You kick, you rechamber, you set that foot down where you need it to be in line with your opponent for that strike. So if you need to, you can offset just a bit. Okay, or you can sure gain a little distance if you need to. Okay, that's why you want to set it down, line yourself up with your opponent. So 1, 2, they double over, chop down into soft bow. We're going to use our drop of body weight with a little bit of circular action for the power pounder. Again, inward block, kick, and chopping down. Okay, last time. 1, kick, chopping down. Good. Okay, B version. B version is pretty much identical to A, but we're going to add one more move to it. And this is with the assumption, after we've thrown the front snap kick, some guys don't necessarily drop right where they're at. Some guys will put their hands down and back up on you. So with that assumption, we need to gain some distance in order to strike because the chop is no longer in range. So as we step back, we throw our kick, then we realize the chop is no good, so we go into a crossing back kick. Let me do it from this angle so you can see a little better. So on the B version, just like A, 1, 2, we go to chop, we realize there's no room for the chop, they're no longer in range, so we throw a crossing back kick, which you should have learned in your basic video, but as a quick reference, quick thing, you just take your back leg, in this case your left, cross in front of your right, throw a back kick, set down, readjust as needed. Okay, again, B version. 1, kick. You go to chop, they're no longer in range. They've backed up on you. So what you want to do is throw a crossing back kick. Okay, one last time. 1, 2, chop, no longer there. Back kick, set down. Okay, from here, same thing. Inward. Let me step back just a little farther here. Inward, kick, down. Chop is no longer there. Back kick. Okay, again. 1, kick, no chop, and down. Okay, that's delayed sword A and B. The only difference is B, you don't have the chop there any longer, so you're going to throw a crossing back kick to try to finalize the fight. So we got Chinese sword A, inward block, first figure 8 motion, chop to the collarbone, draw a soft bow, hand in check, sets you up for 5 and 7 swords. We have Chinese sword B, inward block, throw a back fist, temple or cheek. On either one of those, if you prefer to try to work it with the open palm, I'll accept either way, inward or open palm, whichever way you feel more comfortable to doing it. Then we have delayed sword. So let me get back here a little bit. Inward block, kick, chop. Assumption is after we've thrown the kick, they're going to double over. That opens up the collarbone for a strike. Again on A, and chop. B, we're going to assume that as we've done the front snap kick, they're no longer in range of the chop because they backed up on us. So we're going to throw a crossing back kick to the body. And that's Chinese sword A and B, delayed sword A and B. Now you know your first 4 techniques: attacking the circle, stop hit, Chinese sword, and delayed sword. Practice all 4 of those. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to send me a comment and I'll be happy to answer it for you. Until then, we'll see you in lesson 3. All the best.